Welcome to Roadmap to 1 Million. My name is Stacy Zeal, and if you're looking to make more money, gain your time back, and rapidly grow your visibility so that you can impact way more people with your brilliance, you're in the right place. This podcast is your one-stop shop for turning your online business dreams into a reality. My main goal is to give women entrepreneurs just like you the marketing strategies, guidance, and expert insights you need to hit that $1 million milestone and beyond. Whether you're a coach, a consultant, or an online brand that wants to make a big impact, Roadmap to 1 Million gives you the actionable strategies and inspiration you need so that you can implement right away, no fluff, no fuss. So, CEO, are you ready to buckle up and accelerate your growth? Be sure to follow the show and let's dive in. Get ready to uncover your roadmap to 1 million.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Roadmap to 1 Million. I am your hostess with the mostest. Y'all know me, Stacy, and I am super excited to bring y'all a guest episode today as we are going to be talking about YouTube. And so I have a YouTube expert on here, Jamar Diggs. He's the CEO of J Diggs Media. And he's all about low lift visibility strategies. And I'm just going to tease that there because I want him to be able to explain all of this and give us the goods on that. But this is going to be such a great conversation, y'all. Definitely make sure that you are tuned in. If you have not followed the show, make sure you are following the show. Make sure you share this with a friend because this is such a great episode, such a great podcast for you if you are a business owner, if you are an online service provider, a consultant, an agency, or any kind of business that's really focused on digital marketing strategies and wants to actually take your business to the next level. So welcome to the show, Jamar. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I feel like the stars have aligned
Yeah.
and like we're just meant to be in the world together and be in this podcast together. I'm just so happy to be here and like share some really amazing gems with your people.
Yes, I agree. We just recently did a live, y'all. So if y'all go back to Jamar's Instagram page, which we'll have linked in the show notes to watch our live, where we just definitely like kind of went in on marketing strategy. We talked about so many things. It's hard to kind of nail down what the topic was, but it was definitely about marketing strategy and some things y'all need to do to get this together. So tell us before we jump into talking about YouTube. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your background. I know you were in corporate marketing, and tell us a little bit about that journey from corporate really to this YouTube expert and CEO of your media company.
Yeah, so it all started when I was a social media specialist for homes.com and for rent.com. And I was managing over like about 250 real estate agents social media accounts, right? And with that, I was on the client services side, and but we also were able to help out with some of like the brand ideal client content strategy as well. And so one of the things that our head of marketing was always drilling into us was that we are like a real estate portal, right? So for us, traffic and conversions are the top priority. That was just like, that's just what it is. Traffic and conversions. That's how we measure our success. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Right. And so that was like my first like big boy job into corporate America. And while I was there, I was not only like helping real estate agents like get off the ground, but also it helped me identify a few gaps that business owners really struggled with, right? Because they saw us as like an all-in-one kind of solution or like a set it and forget it. And it was a lot of re-educating to be like, no, we're only doing like a part of marketing for you. Like back then it was different. Like in 2014, it was more about quantity over quality. But
Yeah.
even then, they would still need to, add in their personality because the strategies back then was more like, let's share like some blog posts to some home and gardens article. It was just very like being consistent, showing up in this way, but it needs to be balanced out with like your own personal content. And they just didn't get that at the moment. And so it made me want to start my business a little bit up on the side. And that's where JDX Media came to place, to where I was doing social media management for other companies like toy stores, authors, hairstylists like and salon owners, and it was like a nice little like mix. It just kind of gave me like that feel of like really helping people, even though I couldn't really help the real estate agents. But then after that, I transitioned over to being a digital marketing strategist for Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group, and that's really. And between that time, when I started my business and started working with a company, I also started my own YouTube channel. And that's where video marketing started becoming like my really big focus, to where I was wanting to focus so much up on video. I knew it was impactful. And so I started the company's YouTube channel. I had my YouTube channel, and around 2020, I had decided to leave that job and go into my business full time. And I was so nervous because it was a week before the pandemic, and but I was already marketing my business and stuff, so I already had a brand. But one of the things that I would never forget was when I went out, I already was doing YouTube videos and stuff, but I was getting leads and sales from my YouTube channel. From all the work that I did in the past, it was cashing in. Okay, people were watching my YouTube videos. Then they went to download the freebie, get the tripwire, and then they also ended up wanting like coaching from me. It just happened so fast, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that it could work like this. Well, that was like, I didn't mean for that to happen. I was just doing the marketing things that like I know what happens and that we do in corporate marketing, right? But I never was a part of all of those processes like it was like in your own business. Mm-hmm. And so it felt so good to be like, oh, this can be easy. Yeah. Why are we not doing more of this? Yeah. And so as I went full time in my business, I dabbled with like some social media coaching, some business coaching, but it all surrounded around some type of like video component. And then like about 2 or 3 years ago, I went deep into YouTube, focusing solely up on YouTube and how people can use that to expand their visibility and attract the people that they really want to make their business a lot more easier.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love your story. It's very similar to mine in a sense that, I went to school for marketing. I was doing the corporate marketing thing. And then I realized like, oh yeah, I can help people with marketing. I can help you with social media. I remember like when I started marketing, social media for business was just becoming a thing, right? Like it wasn't, something that was very popular for businesses to use social media for business. But it just started becoming a thing, and it really kind of, I aligned my career with that. And then once I got to Zappos, I got really immersed in the world of paid social and just really like, okay, ads on TikTok, on Facebook, Instagram. And then that kind of, really kind of morphed my business into being a Facebook and Instagram ads kind of hub. And so I love that. I love that your story kind of, goes from taking stuff that works in corporate and then figuring out how to make it work for your clients. Because that's a lot of like, that's something that's really unique about working with marketers who have had the experience of working at some of these big brands or working with some of these actual places that have a marketing budget, right? Like they don't have a shoestring marketing budget, right? They have an actual marketing budget and they have actual KPIs and actual things that you have to hit. And so when you have that space and you have that education, you learn so much. So I love that. So let's talk a little bit about YouTube as a marketing tool. So why is it important for business owners to really consider YouTube as a marketing tool for their businesses and the initiatives that they have going on? And what kind of businesses do you see? Are there any particular businesses that you see work best on YouTube or get the best results from YouTube? Or is it kind of just really depending on, your niche and how far you go with it? Tell us a little bit about why YouTube is important for us.
I have yet to find a business that YouTube does not work for. If you are a coach, consultant, you sell a product, you have a knowledge-based business, or even if you have a business and you want to share and it's just and you want to share more like behind the scenes vlogs or things like that, it still can work, right? You just have to have the right kind of like strategy and positioning. And so I haven't seen it work like not work for anyone, to be quite honest. And most of that is because of the search engine ability for YouTube. And so one of the things that people either don't realize or they realize and they don't really know how to like benefit from it is that YouTube is the second largest search engine and is owned by the first one, which is Google. And the purpose of a search engine is to give you the best and relevant results based upon what you're looking for at that time, right? And so if I were to search for hospitals near me and Google were to send me to a bazillion zoos, we would have mad issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not what you want, right? And you wouldn't ever use that search engine again. And so what you want to happen, and so I say that because you get to show up when people need advice or help exactly when they need it, right? So you end up getting so much more opportunities of positioning yourself without you even having to be involved. Right? A lot of business activities that we do right now involve us manually having to do something, which is great when we first start out. But as we start growing and scaling our business, it's really important to kind of start thinking about smarter marketing that allows you to kind of not set it and forget it, but do a few things and get a huge return from it. You know what I'm saying? And so being able to have that and understanding that people, before they even come in contact with you or before they even know that they need to hire said person, they are already searching for solutions to their problems, just in different ways. Right. Mm-hmm. And so you being able to benefit from that search engine is such a huge opportunity to immediately position yourself, because these are problem aware people. They know they have an issue, but they don't exactly know they need to hire a consultant for that thing, right? Or maybe they don't really know that they need to hire a certain photographer or creative director quite yet, right? Or, things like that. They're looking for they start with what they know. They start with like the question of what they know. And so if you can be the video or the person to show up there, you have already cut the time and collapse the time for them to get into your marketing ecosystem and into your sales funnel. So, and that happens without you having to even know them or be exposed to them, or them being exposed to any of the other marketing efforts or PR or ads that you had that you have currently been working on. So it's almost like a great starting point for, not starting point, but it's kind of like a nice thing to have in the background. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Leading your marketing as the CEO can be time-consuming and draining, which leads to inconsistent marketing and slow growth. If you're looking to supercharge your sales, gain your precious CEO time back, and increase your impact, our fractional chief marketing officer service at Stacey Zeal & Co. is your secret weapon. Picture this: no more missed deadlines, no more unfinished campaigns, no more jumping from tactic to tactic. You can absolutely achieve all of that without pouring more of your time into marketing, even if you have a small and inexperienced team. Want to know how? Head over to staceyzeal.co/CMO right now to watch our free video. We'll show you the exact strategies and tactics that have helped countless online service providers, coaches, and consultants just like you skyrocket their sales with their existing team. Don't miss out on this opportunity to transform your business. Visit staceyzeal.co/CMO today to watch the video and get ready to make more money, gain your time back, and increase your impact. All right, let's jump back into the episode.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I think that YouTube is such a powerful tool because it does marry video with search. So you get people who are problem aware enough to actually go searching for something, right? Because we all may have problems. We have things that we're thinking about, right? We have 1,000 things that we want to solve, or 1,000 problems that we may have, but there's something, magical about being able to get in front of someone when they actually are like, okay, I actually am ready to solve this problem, or I'm ready to start the process of solving this problem. And so you can catch them there when they are in that place where they're like, this problem is hurting me enough that I'm ready to go ahead and start to search for a solution for it. And you get to pair video with it, because video is just such a powerful marketing tool in itself, where video helps to build know, like, and trust a lot faster than some of these, than like blogging and stuff like that. And so I think one of the things that's really, really great about YouTube is that you do get to have that evergreen video visibility. So you always have content that, one, helps to show your face and helps to hear people hear your voice. People can start to build that know, like, and trust, but it lasts for a long time, because we see with, Instagram, with Facebook, that stuff does not last, right? Like, you have to keep creating and creating and creating in order for you to be visible on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and some of these other channels. But with YouTube, like, I've watched YouTube videos from people who have posted them years ago, right? Like, especially if it's like a tutorial or something where I'm like, how to do something. If it's a great tutorial, it's a great tutorial, or maybe you just update it for 2023, right? But it's such a great tool because that stuff lasts. And like, that's one of the things I think us being in this social media kind of frenzy right now has really kind of taken away from, or maybe people just don't realize, right? Like, a lot of business owners are not marketers, they don't realize. But it's like, YouTube and these sustainable long marketing channels, you create it once, and that's something that's going to stay there for a very, very long time. I love all of that you said.
Yes, I think also one of those things is when you talk about video, and most of the time we're such experts in what we do, and we have concepts, and we have like examples, we have these things that people need to kind of get a grasp of, right? And I find that video is such a great medium for something like this, because you have all your senses, except for, I guess, touch and smell, is geared in so that the person who is at a disadvantage of knowing like this information has everything that they need to kind of like learn that concept or to understand it a little bit more. Because another thing that people think is like, oh, well, YouTube is just for like people who are like low ticket, or maybe they don't have like the money to pay like a high ticket thing. And that is not true. People search for understanding, not always to do, you know? And so think about this, like even for our like 7 figure entrepreneurs here that are listening, like, before you hire someone, don't you like want to understand what you're hiring for? That's what people search for, right? They search to see if you know what you're talking about. They're searching to understand the concepts that you will be doing, that they will be wanting to hire you for.
Yeah.
Okay. So think about it that way. And then having like visuals and video and talking to someone, and it feeling like they're talking to you in a video medium really helps like them understanding this skill set a little bit more than it just being like written out in blog or just audio only. When it's something like really, really tough, you want to see it and you want to hear it. You want to make sure that you really understand it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, one of the things like I love about what you do is that you talk about integrated marketing. And it's because like so many people, how we as consumers consume information, it has evolved over time. Like, there was a time when people would buy Pepsi just because it was Pepsi. But now that's not the case. People are going to be looking at your YouTube videos. They're listening to your podcast. They're looking at your social media posts. They're looking at your lives. They're listening to they're reading your emails, right? And so we are in this kind of space where consumers are doing their due diligence, right? People are, they're used to seeing ads in their timeline. So I may see your ad, but I'm still going to go look at your timeline and see what you have going on. I may see your YouTube videos, and then I'm able to go binge and look at all the rest of your YouTube videos and be able to make an informed decision, because that's really where we're at now with marketing, is that we have to give people enough information to make an informed decision about buying from us. It's no longer a space where people are just going to buy it just because they like us, or just buy it because, we're visible. And like, I love, like earlier we were talking about how it was more quantity over quality. And that was definitely a time. Like, I remember that time of marketing when it was like, if you posted 3 times on Instagram a day, then you would be, a millionaire. And that used to be the case, but that's not the case anymore, right? Like, I don't care how many times you post a day on Instagram, or I don't care how many videos you post. are the videos quality? Am I getting something out of this? Are you solving the problem that I'm coming to you for? Or are you giving me at least the information and the insight that I need to be able to make a decision about solving this problem? So it really is one of those channels that it gives you the ability to paint a full picture for people, unlike social media, like where if you're relying on Instagram, Facebook, you get snippets of a picture, right? You really don't get a full picture, a full grasp of something. That's one of the things I love about YouTube for sure. And so tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that CEOs have, that YouTube market, that focusing on YouTube helps them to overcome. So like, what are some of the challenges that YouTube marketing helps CEOs overcome that they're experiencing in their businesses right now?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So there's so many, and there's so, okay. This gets me really excited. So you need to stop me when I'm
Well, I
going
love
a little
talking to
bit too
marketers.
much.
Let me tell you, I love talking to
Okay.
marketers because we will go
So
in. Yes, you can see the excitement. Go ahead.
so I'm going to start with the most obvious one, right? So most of the time CEOs, either solo or people who hire like a team, they end up hiring so many people. Well, they may have like a social media manager and other experts or strategists inside different like kind of respects. Okay. But then what ends up happening is that they end up still being the bottleneck of the business, because maybe each strategist has their own strategy, maybe maybe they still need things from the leader there, right? Or if it's just them being solo, they have to come up with all that stuff from scratch. Like if they want to be on all these platforms, then they got to figure out a way to be visible up on each platform, and each platform has a different need. When you kind of reverse engineer that and use YouTube as your foundation, it makes it a lot more easier. So I have this thing to where by using YouTube and leveraging YouTube as like the core content piece, you're going to be able to just make your marketing activities only 10% of your CEO's activity, because using your YouTube channel allows you to repurpose and create all different kinds of content to where you're going to be able to transcribe the YouTube video and make a really great keyword rich blog post. And then that's going to be able to have a pin. You're able to make a pin from the video and the blog post. You're able to create all kinds of like clips and things for social media, whatever social media platform you have, and the brand's message, personality, and goals are still aligned with that same piece, because it's all coming from that one content. So what typically happens is that the way that the CEO can kind of thrive is that they just create 2 or 3 pieces of content each time, and then their team is able to go ahead and leverage that content and feed that machine for them. That way, and with the proper processes in place, they're going to be like, there is no, I want you to do this. This is ready now, so go ahead and do that. They already know what to do when everyone understands that you are giving them these 3 videos a month or something, right? And everyone knows how they contribute to expanding the visibility with that core piece of content. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so expanding that visibility that way is so great. I call it like the low lift visibility strategy. It's so great. Now that's just with like content marketing, right? That's just like the content distribution thing. If you want to be omnipresent, if you want to do that, if you want to make sure that you are hitting all of those touch points, because everyone's searching for issues, but then they're also looking at your other platforms. They're also going to be finding you up on other platforms. Now let's talk about some of like maybe the non-tangible types of things too, which when it comes to using YouTube, I think it's a great way to combat objections without you having to be there. Right. So one thing that happens with YouTube is that when you use this kind of framework or this type of strategy, you're going to be able to have more productive sales calls. Like you don't have to answer the same question over and over up on a sales call. You don't have to have these sales conversations with people who are not ready. They know that they're ready because they're in your marketing ecosystem. Your content is doing the work for you, or you're using your content in your sales processes effectively, right? You do not have to be, you don't have to convince someone or hop on a call and have someone say, well, why should I choose you over someone else? They are not the one. They're not the fit. right? They shouldn't have even been up on that call, to be quite honest, right? They weren't ready. But and so you spend more time doing that kind of stuff. And then because what we want to do is attract a really confident and connected buyer who trusts you as the authority. They already trust your frameworks. They already trust your unique concepts and your unique perspective, so that when it's time to have that sales conversation, it's just a matter of when is the right time for me to pull the trigger on this investment. Okay. And because they trust you and because they trust your unique perspectives, your churn goes down. You're not bleeding customers. You're not really having to go out and find more, because they're already in your ecosystem. They already know that you are the trusted advisor. You are the trusted resource, the trusted service provider to help them get them what they need. So, and this all comes from you just showing your expertise up on a YouTube video, right? And so you're not bleeding customers, and then it just makes the acquisition process a little bit more easier for them, because you're also not going to be bringing in bad fit clients either. You're going to keep the good ones, and you're not going to be having the bad ones because the content is repelling them from it. So that was a lot, but that was kind of like my down and dirty of like all of the benefits.
Yeah. No, that was
of
great
using it.
That's awesome, because like one of the things, let me recap what you said. One of the things was it helps you to overcome that challenge of not having enough content, right? People feel like they are creating, either they're spending too much time creating content, or they don't have enough kind of content, meaning like, you're posting on social and that's it, right? Like that's really kind of like a limited space that you're in. Like if you're just only relying on Facebook and Instagram, like you can take your YouTube video and you can turn it into a blog post, you can turn it into clips you can turn it into reels, you can turn it into TikToks, you can turn it into Pinterest pins. And so that having that YouTube, or having your YouTube video be your anchor content, or the content that you're building all of your stuff around, like I like to call it your hero piece of content, that allows you to then be able to take that and spread that message in a lot of different places. So you as the CEO are focused on like, hey, I just need to create 3 or 4 YouTube videos a month. Maybe I set aside a day and batch all 3 or 4 of my videos. And then my team, or whether you have a team, or if you're going on Fiverr or something like that and saying like, hey, I need you to make me, video clips from this, or turn this into a Pinterest pin, or pulling out the transcription and writing the blog post, right? Like that makes your content creation process so much easier. Because everything is coming from one piece, everything's coming from one anchor, right? Like nothing is just like, you're not just pulling stuff out of the sky. Another thing that you said that I think is so important to talk about is that it helps you to overcome objections, because it's not just about the how-to content, right? It's not just how to build a Facebook ad, right? It's really talking about the objections that people may experience or maybe experiencing before they decide to work with you. And so that way, they watch those kinds of videos, they get that content, and then before they get on the phone with you, they're not asking you, about like, should I hire a consultant or should I hire an agency, right? Like they already know, yes, I need to hire a consultant. That's why I'm on the phone with you, because you've given them that content that helps them to move them along the journey. And that's really what marketing is about, y'all. It's really about moving people closer to the sale. And that's really like, I'm gonna be doing a live with someone coming up, where we're talking about the difference between sales and marketing, because a lot of people don't understand the difference, because marketing is really supposed to give you all the information that you need to lead up to that sales conversation. And once that sales conversation happens, a whole other set of things, process happens, right? Like, you have your follow-ups, you have all the things, but your marketing is supposed to set them up so that when they get on the call, they already are mostly a yes, right? They're already ready. They just need to figure out what are the logistics and do we vibe and all that kind of good stuff. So I love that. And then the last thing you said was making sure that people were confident buyers, right? Like, so giving people the information that they need to make that confident decision, to make a decision from a place of confidence, because that's what we want, right? We want clients that come to us because they're confident in us being able to help them to get the result. And having one-on-one conversations with people, having a bunch of DMs with people is not going to get you all the way there, right? People are still going to get on the phone having questions, because social media only gives you, one piece of the puzzle. And it's not to say, right, I don't want y'all to think that I am saying that, social media is irrelevant and that you don't need social media, right? Because it is a piece of the puzzle. But what do you think about that when people are talking about like, oh, should I be focused on social? Should I be focused on YouTube? Should I be focused on ads? Like people are in this either or kind of space right now. And I want people to understand that it's not really an either or. It's an all-encompassing. What are your thoughts?
Yes. Yeah, everything is connected. Everything is 100% connected. You need both. It just, well, when I say need, I mean, it's not that you need all of them at one time if you can't afford it or if it's not in the budget, but stop thinking that it is an all that it is either this versus this, and if this doesn't work for me, then I should move on to this other thing. When we just said that, like, there are so many touch points that someone has to make with you and your brand in order to feel like a confident buyer who is ready to invest in your services. And so with that doesn't mean that they just come from one platform. and also understand that people are different. Marketing is not linear. So if we are thinking in terms of I'm investing X amount of money in this type of marketing, then it should give me X results. And that may not be it, because it may actually help lift a boat somewhere else as well, right? So a lot of times when it comes to YouTube, I always recommend having some type of community-based platform. So that's kind of what I call them. So I call like a search engine type of like platform, like YouTube, Pinterest, whatever, as an attraction-based platform, and like something like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram as a community-based platform. And so when you start using, so let's just give an example of like, so let's just say that I posted a YouTube video and they're binging, right? And yes, I have all the strategic kind of content, but if they are not ready, they're not ready. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like if they will choose to go through the funnel. You know what I'm saying? Just like how y'all would choose. You will unsubscribe from someone's list if you're not ready to be sold to quite yet. You just wanted the freebie, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? That is okay. You'll come back when you're ready. You know what I'm saying? That's the same kind of component. And so sometimes people are not going to be ready to go through and binge the channel and take action in the way that you want, because they're not you. Okay. And so what may end up happening is you are positioning yourself as a damn good expert. And they're like, this person is smart as hell. And they may want to connect with you on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I've had this happen so many times to where someone has binge watched my channel and they have said, oh my God, I just came over from YouTube. I love your channel. And we start creating conversation. Are they buying right then and there? No, probably not. Right. But then I also had someone, when I had a group program, that engagement happened. And then a month later, I launched my group program, and that person was the first person to sign up. So if you check my analytics, it will probably say that person came from Instagram. Mm-hmm. Really, that person came from YouTube.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love when you said that marketing is not linear, because that's definitely how a lot of people want to treat it these days. We want to say like, I post this and then I get X, Y, and then I get this, get this result out, or I run this ad and I get people on my email list. And if I'm not making my money back right away, then it's a waste of time. Right. But what we don't realize is that person is going to sit on your email list for 3 months and then they're going to buy. Right. But then you're going to attribute that to email. Right. Because it's like, oh, well, but how did they get on your email? Right. Like you were saying with YouTube, it's like, how did they find you on Instagram? They found you on Instagram because they had a problem. They went on YouTube to try to solve the problem, found your videos, binged your stuff, and then was like, let me connect further on Instagram, which is, I love what you say, like a community-based platform, because it does help you to get to know people, right? Like, because it's like, yeah, I want to hear your expertise and, all this well thought out, put together content on YouTube. But then I also want to see your Instagram stories. I want to see what you're up to. What do you like to do? What are some things that you just kind of throw up on YouTube? Throw up on Instagram or Insta stories that you didn't actually take the time to create a full-on video for, like a 10